Hello, I am Arno Jorgensen, lead designer of DWRPG, which is what we're going to be talking about today, specifically episode 2 of Beta Beach. And joined with me, of course, is my co designer.
Hi, I'm Nick Allison, also known as Hawks on Beta Beach, and the running GM, unfortunately, maybe for some people.
True, perhaps, but there is only one more week of it. Despite the fact that
Unfortunately.
we don't currently have a video of week 2. I wonder why that
Oh,
is.
we
What
didn't? We didn't do it?
Why don't we have a video of week? There might
Some
be when you're
weird
watching this.
listen,
There may
guys.
be a
There
video
was
of week 2, but it's not going to be a great
Yeah, there
one.
was some weird funk out in the last week. I just felt like in the world, like there was a lot of weird funk going around, and it affected the show, which meant Arno's internet was choppy, to say the
Yeah,
best.
specifically to say the best. Yeah,
Players were,
downright
we were
disconnected
all,
many a
everybody
time.
was off their game, I feel like, but we still ended up having what I would say was a pretty good session, all in
It
all.
was
We
it
had a
was a great
major
show.
change.
I wish
Um,
you could see it. Hopefully something
Yeah,
will be
it's
out that
one
you
of
can
those
see. The
things.
recovered corrupted footage.
Yeah, it
But
was
let's
pretty good.
recap it as if they haven't seen it because they haven't seen
Yeah.
it.
No, they haven't. So the show started off, obviously with Hawks announcing that there was going to be a new title. There was going to be a title match with potential to winning said title, which actually ended up happening anyway. And a new team of Rushmore and Rogue, which were pre-made characters that are going to be out with the book when you guys get it. And that was being played by our good friend Tito, who is also at the time uh, our world champion as well. Maybe a little bit of spoiler for the future part of this video. Going up against Kirby's team of King Ifrit
Yeah.
Infrit
No,
Ifrit.
Ifrit. You
I
know
want to say
Ifrit.
Ifrit. Yeah. I yeah,
He doesn't know Ifrit.
and I know Ifrit maybe. Um,
Ifrit's a genie,
and
fire genie.
yeah, I thought so. Okay, I'm not crazy. And Damien Howell, and unfortunately, I mean, Damien really showed the power of
Damien was gonna win it.
strikers. Yeah,
Damien
Damien was
was
so
gonna
going to
win
win it
it.
until those crazy inmates of the asylum, the surgeon and Alexander Jackson, surprise acting themselves into the match at a very crucial point where, in my opinion, it was Damien and King's match to win at that point.
Well,
Um,
I didn't think
but
there was any chance they were going to lose until the surprise act hit, which was hilarious in the after fact, of course. Before the match commenced, we were looking at onlookers and everything, and Liam, who plays Alexander Jackson as well as many other characters, like he was asked, "Are you gonna like surprise match this as Alexander Jackson and the Asylum and like steal the belt?" He's like, "No, of course not. I wouldn't do that to you. I want you guys to have fun and like get a belt." And then that's exactly what he did. He surprise matched
yeah,
it,
yeah,
took out
he like
Damian
the
Howe,
heel. Yeah,
just broke out with the octopus hold, a deadly move. We've seen it many
yeah.
a time.
Hmm.
Pinned, didn't get him with the pin on the hold, but got him with the submission.
Yeah,
Is the crazy way, which the striker had
which
just
is
had. What a run. It was
yeah,
Damien's game. It was
it
exactly what I was
was.
afraid of in the original last week, Alexander versus Damien Howe. I was afraid because I had bet that Alexander Jackson, yes, Alexander Jackson was going to win. I was like, yeah, he's got this. He's got more
Yeah,
scars. He's got more technique. He's got more athleticism. He's just a better wrestler overall. And there was this point at 3 intensity where the striker combo was unlocked. And there was this flurry that threatened to end the match where I thought it was like halfway done. I went, oh no, I'm going to
yeah.
lose everything. And in the end, through reversal after reversal, Alexander took that match. And here we come again, where Damien went, there's no reversal character out here. There's no Alexander Jackson to steal the show and reversal everything I've got. I'm going to bring the full rondo. And it was sun right, it was rising sun flurry to sunset
Yeah,
flurry. It was
yeah.
it gave him the whole
It was a
sundial, I
master
think I
class
said.
of the striker. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, it brought the whole sundial to beat him down with, and he was winning it. And then Alexander Jackson just comes to take everything away from him and show why the
Mhm.
Asylum are, in fact, the villains, in case there was any doubt.
Yeah, in case you were worried that the crazy fucked up people from the spooky asylum are somehow faces because I'm running the show, don't worry. I'm not that biased. They're bad guys. They should be spooky bad guys. And yeah, it was very funny to me how we were doing the in-show prep for everything, and I was going through, just shooting what, ideas I had and what, players were looking for and what they wanted to do. And I know previously when we were talking to Liam beforehand, he was like, "I really just want to play an onlooker. I don't wa- I know I have a title match for
It was like
later
last
on the card."
week, I played in both matches. I had this
Yeah.
full card. I had a lot to do. I really just want to sit back as an onlooker. I know I'm in
Yeah.
the champion of the world match. Just let me sit back as an onlooker. What a lie.
What a great heel move,
Yeah.
honestly, by Liam. And
Mhm.
also to just also this is the crazy thing about, I guess, our system is the like how easy it is to just pull off the simple like sort of rivalry story because it's now sort of baked in that Alexander Jackson is mostly just around to like screw over Damien. And that is
Yeah.
such like a easy story. Like we said before, of like Damien's story of being like an indie just out of the like school like wrestling school like kid and Beta Beach to his knowledge is like his first big break. And there's this friggin' old guy who has every move that he knows, he's got a counter for it, and it just builds into this, like, perfect story,
And
of what
beyond
we see.
ever being able to counter every single move that Damien has. He also has the willingness and the drive to do so constantly, even when uninvited.
Yeah, yeah,
He has every
he's
desire to find Damien's life, and Damien could be eating a burrito for breakfast, and Alexander would
yeah,
come out and reversal the burrito.
yeah,
Just
mhm.
just to really stick it to him for some reason.
Yeah. It makes for fun, stories. I love how these, like, stories are just kind of coming it's nothing it makes it easier for me as a DM of this
Hmm.
whole thing. So much easier because it is, like, the thing of, like, it just comes up so naturally for the players, so it's like, well, we don't really have to like, yeah, we can build more into this, like, I can throw more stuff at you, but it just makes it so much easier when both players are like, "Yeah, like, this is the story, we're just gonna keep running with it," you know?
And I know we have another match to talk about before we talk about this week's big finale game for this season. But ordinarily, right, a season we would imagine would be around 5 or 6 sessions, maybe four,
Yeah.
what have you. This may sound crazy to people who know us because we run 18 session
Yeah.
campaigns all the time,
This is
but
like, "Yeah, but we made
we think, a
DWRPG to be
handful,
smaller."
just exactly. It's a much smaller game, which isn't to say it isn't complex or has layers, but we imagine that, or I imagine at the very least, that by the time people get to this point in their story, that they're reaching the finale, everyone's going to be prime time. Even if they started as a young blood, everyone is going to be prime time, and everyone is going to have some manner of setback that the HOC has in order to write these better storylines, much like they would in the actual WWE, AEW, what have you. They have these tools at their disposal to make the most of what the talent brings to the table. And that's not so much the case at Beta Beach. Most people are still young bloods, stuck as young
Yeah.
bloods, but we've got a few who hit prime time. I think Alexander's now prime time.
I
Perhaps
think so.
because you started
Alexander,
him with one
yeah,
scar, and then he did 2 matches, which brings him to three. Which
I
luckily
think.
means if Alexander has a thing to show up in the final week, whatever you're planning, you can set back him to
Mm,
really try and sell whatever story you're looking to sell.
hmm Yeah, because
Which is just no, you go for it.
we have Alexander who's a prime time. We have the Dreamer who's also obviously a prime time, and we have the Surgeon who just hit prime time last
Yep.
session. So
Yeah, indeed. And I just feel that we need Damien in the final showdown. I don't know. Yeah, obviously it's up to you because our other match, I feel more or less resolved itself quite well. I don't know how
yeah,
you would like to orchestrate or
it was
retell what happened in that match, who it was
yeah.
against,
So
and what twists and turns we had.
yeah, so obviously following last week's number one contender shot for this, and we got the Dream, well, formerly the Nightmare, now the Dreamer, who is coming into this trying to be best buds, and trying to, he's changed himself and he's trying to be a new man. And well, he wants to start a friendship with Boise, and I think Boise also has been okay with that. The only issue is, you got some dark dealings that the Dreamer's got to deal with, and he definitely dealt with it before uh, the match, because there was a on the promo, the Asylum sort of pretty much ganked both members of that match and bled the Dreamer, and I think overall the match was like pretty crazy. It was the first, like, it was first for me to give a setback to a character, and we also had me and you sort of
It's
planning
true. We
out.
surprise acted in a typical
We
goon
surprise
way.
acted in.
We made all the wrong decisions,
We
which
did. We did.
I did in fact question the decisions as they were being made, but I was merely a member of the asylum. I was playing Wardenberg, the jobber.
Yeah.
And just waving my arms around like an idiot, going, "Boss, are you sure that's what we should do?" Of course, Wardenberg. This is exactly who we should hit and why and how. Okay, if you say so, boss. And then I believe we got pile
We got
drivered and
annihilated.
throat
Yeah.
broken and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Asylum didn't necessarily get fully their pound of flesh that they wanted from the Dreamer, but Dreamer and Boise definitely clap back with at the end there with giving the pile driver and the
it
choke slam
was
to us.
as far as a match could go, it was a very straightforward match. I felt we had
Hmm
a lot of turnabout due to dice. There were a lot of dice odds that were
Should
insane.
have happened, but did
Just
happen, or
just
shouldn't have
bizarre.
gone.
Yeah, exactly. Of just like,
It
oh
was
yeah,
definitely. It
I'm
was
gonna get
also
more
this.
success than dice I rolled. It was like, what?
It was
How?
also something crazy to think about too, was that both matches that we had, I didn't think it went past intensity 4 or 3.
No, you're incorrect on both counts.
The tag match went, again, funk, but I thought the
Well, you
tag match only went up
remember
to 3.
that the champion of the world match ended at intensity 5, right? We had
Oh, yes,
remember
because
we
yeah,
had
because
Tito
Dreamer
wanted to
wanted to
do
use
the
choke slam.
intensity 6
Yeah.
move and could not.
hmm
No
hmm
intensity 6 moves were available.
Yeah.
Which is a
Yeah.
shame odds-wise, but that is not to say that dice were not rolled and the rightful winner wasn't crowned, belted.
Yeah, yeah, I get crowned. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We
But you
did
give them
have.
belts in this world,
Yeah, you give them belts, or titles. It's
but you call
a
it a crown.
nebulous concept. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Don't
Okay,
don't
understood.
question.
I'm still learning. I'm still learning all the lingo,
Yeah,
um, and the
yeah. So we got.
traditions, like these traditions of putting belts on your head and wearing them as a hat. It's new to me. I'm still figuring it out.
So yeah, we got the Dreamer. who's our new champion of the world
But you're not
champion.
mentioning the fact that Potato Sack McGregor over there, the Boise Bruiser, rolled 15 dice and got like
Uh-huh.
17 or something
Yeah,
silly, maybe
he was
a
yeah.
lot of scores, and we're like, oh, it's done. There's no way. And the Dreamer, because they boasted, and on their average boast, they should have got 3 hype. Instead, on their boast, they got 7 or something
Yeah,
silly.
yeah, it
It
was
didn't
something
make any sense,
ridiculous.
but it meant that
Yeah.
going into Lights Out, the Dreamer had 11 hype. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to roll 20 dice and let's see how this goes. But even
Yeah.
then, 20 dice statistically should have had a pretty hard time against a score of 13 or 16 or whatever
Yeah.
it was that Tito got. And yet, the Boise Bruiser did not match up to the Dreamer's might. And the
No.
Dreamer took the crown.
Yeah, it was definitely I think it's a fun thing when the dice work with the story that you're crafting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We didn't like it's a great thing
Can't plan
to say
dice.
that this wasn't planned. Like obviously some people like I don't know, unbiased enough. Like I was like, yeah, it'd be cool if the Dreamer won, but like ultimately that's a great thing about this game is that like yeah, you could just have the jobber guy win the title and it
Would
kind
be
of
quite
changes
hard,
the whole
given
game.
as
Yeah,
a
yeah.
spotlight, you can just eliminate them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like in a sort of sense of like it's anyone's like the the whole story can be
It's very
changed on a
much how
dime.
the game is built, is this idea. There are other wrestling RPGs out there where they say, "Hey, you should script everything." And then you roll
Yeah.
dice to try and play by the script. And that's not really how we handled it. We have setbacks. There is even a setback as brazen as choose this wrestler. Well, they have the setback, they can't win their next match. It's just the
Yeah.
rule. And so as the HOC, you can very much rig it, but nothing forces you to. Nothing really tells you must or whatever. We wanted there to be surprise for everybody. And that's why we made the dice system as it is, where you can roll 15 dice and sometimes you can get a 0 and sometimes you can get a 25. And it's like
Yeah.
none of those make sense. Like you should get half. Every other die should be a score. It should
Yeah.
really land somewhere around 7 or 8. But because of exploding dice and because of fault dice, you can just end up with nothing or you can end up with everything. And it leads to these wild turnabouts where the dice just make their own story. And when you add the onlookers in, especially the jobber, especially the surprise act, especially we've got a manager getting in there, suddenly you have all these ways to let players write their own story. And with the onlookers being a secret to every wrestler who's not an oracle, which is a origin available
Origin.
to them, but for the most part, with them being a secret, it just means that you have these twists and turns where the rivalries write themselves, and the
Yeah.
HSC doesn't have to write things from scratch. You're all there experiencing a story. The dice, it's not like D&D or other games where the dice are bounded to a certain set
Yeah.
of numbers. Our
And I think
bounds on
also
every die roll is 0 to infinity.
and I think also on top of that, a little bit less so potentially uh for other people who play D&D. It's this I feel like this game is also very like open with how what you want to do with your character
Oh,
and what the
absolutely.
like having that open dialogue with your HOC and you know what you
There
want your
are
story to do. I feel like it's a little bit more open than in say D&D where it's
Yeah.
like
Well, there are
yeah,
times in this game where people will win a match and go, "Yeah, I won. I got this fame. Oh man, I want a rivalry with someone. I get a rivalry? No, cuz I wasn't eliminated or lost a
yeah,
match." Oh man. And you get like these things from losing that sometimes even winning you're like, "Wait, I wanted that." And it's like,
yeah, yeah.
"Well,
It's kind of weird. Yeah.
that's
It's
that's the
crazy how that
story.
works.
Winning or
Yeah.
losing is about what you want, not about it's not winner takes all. There's
Yeah.
advantages to losing a match so you can get that comeback later.
Mhm.
It's
It's really,
it's a wild
it's
ride.
fun. It's fun
And it,
to
and I
think
mean,
about in that sort of sense.
I think that with this, I feel like Dreamer very much is the main character of Beta Beach. He's very much been the protagonist we followed for much of DWRPG. He's had a big story. It finished in a way with him on top. And it leaves
Yeah,
me to wonder this week, this Thursday, what's going to happen? What's going on? We're going to go on with him because is he even
there's
going to be involved now that he's got his title
there's something to be said that you're never really recognized as a champion until you have
until
your
you defend
first
it?
yeah,
That's
until you have your first defense.
that's in
So,
racing as well. That's a racing
yeah, so we're
saying.
definitely gonna see the dreamer. And we're gonna see I think there's definitely potential to have a couple of people maybe who want to go up
I'd like
against
to have a
him,
three
maybe.
match card. We were
Yeah.
planning on having a three match card in episode 2, but unfortunately, due to internet, this is why you may have noticed I wasn't in any of these matches. I was an onlooker in both because there were times I could not
It
hear
was
anyone.
bad.
It
Yeah,
was really,
apparently
really
from his
bad. And I
side it
was
was bad.
recording it. It was
Yeah.
abysmal. And it meant that I had
I
to
think
sit on the
my
sidelines.
camera cut out too at one
Your
point.
camera cut out at a
Yeah.
point. Uh, Someone disconnected. It was
Yep.
not a great night for on the technical side of things,
The
which
funk
is
was
honestly on
real.
par for Beta Beach. It's about the Beta Beach
Yeah.
quality we expect.
Yep. Yep.
Usually it's because Hawks has messed something up, but this time, no, the universe had it out
It
for him.
was the yeah, it was the tech guys. They fucked
Yeah,
up the
it's the
Beta
way it
Beach.
is. But
Mhm.
regardless, I hope that on Thursday, I want us, I'm certainly going to bring it up that we should have a three match card. I'm not really sure what all three matches are going to be, but one may have to do with King Ifrit, one may have to do with Damien, one may have to do with the Dreamer. I don't know who is doing what or how it's going to go.
Mhm.
It's a shame because it feels like, for me at least, there's more storylines I want to wrap up than time we have to do it.
Yeah, it's the
I would
thing
very
of
much, this is our third, Beta Beach on recording.
yeah.
Fourth really that we've done, or fifth that we've done. I really feel like one more week would allow us to truly clean up the story. But Hawks' lease is up, Miami Beach,
Yeah.
it ain't cheap,
It's
and
yep,
we gotta
yep.
end the season.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta figure out a way to end, all this in a bang, and, I have
And we're
some
gonna have a new
ideas,
person, I think, showing up just for the finale.
which is crazy,
It's
and is so
insane.
totally a Hawks move, you know? Like, "Oh,
I
we got a
That second
finale?
Damien
Gonna
match
get a
I
new
feel is
guy."
gonna be insane. I don't know what it's gonna be, what the steps are gonna be. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I feel like that second match on the card is going to be the crazy one.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm really excited because I have a couple ideas. A lot were like pitched to me immediately after the end of the last
It's a group
session.
game.
Yeah, so I was just kind of, and I'm not gonna be like the guy. I'm not gonna be the DM or the HOC. Hawks isn't the guy who's not gonna deny people who want to fight each other. He knows
Mhm.
if he denies them that, he might have a backstage brawl or something go on, and
Yeah,
he
something
doesn't have a.
wild.
He only has 2 or 3 cameras. Okay, he can't
It's
get it all.
and hopefully, God willing, our cameras will work for that finale, and we'll be able to film it, we'll be able to put it up. I'm certainly going to try because our Kickstarter, if you're watching this in the present, only has a week left. This
Yeah,
video is going to go up, and then we've got a weekend which Nick won't even be here for, and then our
unfortunately.
Kickstarter is over. That's it. And so hopefully you will see a video come out. Hopefully it'll be everything that you want it to be. I have a feeling, regardless of how it goes down, it'll be everything we want it to be. But that is all we have time for on this wonderful corrupted video recast. And we will see you maybe not next week because we would be able. You get back on Tuesday?
I get back from my vacation Wednesday. So
Wednesday,
I
which means when
yeah.
you get back, the Kickstarter is over, and it's not going to be Monday, which means we won't be filming this.
We
You
gotta do an
won't hear
extra
for our
one.
recap. We're going
Maybe
to do
we
an
just
extra. When are
maybe
we
we
going to
just
do an extra recap? Because we do them all on Mondays. This is a
Friday?
question for later. Thank you for
Yeah,
watching, everybody.
we'll
We
talk.
will
See you
maybe
guys.
see you again, maybe not. I'm
See you
Arno
on Beta
Jorgensen,
Beach.
lead designer of DWRPG. Please back us on Kickstarter. If our game is out there in the ether, please buy it.
Please.